Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on June 1st, 2019. If you'd like to get my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 3, 32, 34, 42, and 61. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 3 is green, the 32 is green, the 34 is blue, the 42 is purple, and the 61 is orange. So I'm going to color those in. So again, the 3 and the 32 are green. Okay, so the 34 is blue. The 42 is purple, and the 61 is orange. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 green, a blue, purple, and orange for 4 colors total. Okay, so now I'm going to make this 336 color code drawings I kept track of, and now a 4 color combination has now come up 113 times. Okay, so what I want you to look at is the 3 color combination. Okay, that's come up 181 times, so if you divide 181 into 336, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so here's my color code right here. This is all the red numbers, the orange, green, blue, and purple. Okay, so what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red, and it's the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why it's the last 3 is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to start in with the 3, the 32, the 34, the 42, and the 61. And then the next line is 1, 2, 39, 43, and 66. And the last line is 7, 10, 20, 44, 57. Okay, so again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 5 here and 5 here for 10, and 5 over here for 15. So I'm going to make this 15 red numbers that I have. So up here it tells me how many colors, number of colors I have on the game card. Okay, so I think you get the gist of things of how I came up with the color, the game card here. So in the color code, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up a little bit. Okay, so the game card for this drawing, June 1st, 2019, I have 15 red numbers, 13 orange, 16 green, 17 blue, and 9 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3 color combination comes up. So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is try to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what I think is not going to come up. Okay, so I'm going to guess that no orange numbers are going to come up. And the reason why is because the last 2 drawings had an orange number, and orange numbers just don't seem to come up all that much. So I'm going to roll with that and say that no orange numbers are going to come up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here, excuse me, is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, okay, which includes the power play. So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these orange numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these orange numbers come up, then I'm 1 step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so what that means is, let me reduce this down so you can see the whole card here. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, so you can see that I have group number 1 right here. Numbers of 1 through 9. Okay, that's the only one with 9 numbers, and then the rest have 10 numbers. It's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Okay, so again, there's 7 groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which group won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works and how I do this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so why I do that is for a couple of reasons. Okay, so when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count back on 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings and this for this particular 5, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings or vice versa. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what I think will not be coming up. Okay, and I think it's going to be a 60 number. So you can see that 5, 10, 15, 20, the last 20 drawings have been a lot of 60 numbers here. Okay, so I just think the ebb and flow of things is that it's going to go into a not so many 60 numbers coming up. Okay, so I'm gonna say that no 60 numbers will be coming up in this drawing. Okay, also I don't believe that any numbers of 1 through 9 will be coming up as well. Okay, you can see that this has been pretty hot as well. Okay, so I'm gonna take those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so let me blow this back up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I update this. Okay, so you can see a 3 came up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this as green square. And I'm making it green because the 3 is green. Okay, and the 3 is green because the color code said it was green. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to count how many groups this hit. So the 3 hit the 1 through 9 group. The 32 and 34 hit the 30 group. The 42 hit the 40 group. And the 61 hit the 60 group for 4 groups total. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna guess that it's not gonna be a 4 this next drawing. Okay, I think it's either gonna be a 5 or a 3 that comes up. Okay, so if it turns out to be a 4, I'll probably redo everything until it comes out to be 5 groups or 3 groups. Okay, so let me keep on moving on here. So I'll go to the game card. And again, I'm going to get rid of the numbers of 1 through 9. And I'm going to get rid of the 60 numbers as well. Okay, so I'll block those out. Okay, so if I made the correct picks so far, then these numbers won't be coming up. So that means the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers hopefully are still left here on the game card somewhere. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the upcoming majority will be. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to the game card and I'm going to see what was going on. So I have an odd, even, odd. Okay, so I'm going to go here and there was 3 even numbers and 2 odd. So this turns out to be 381 drawings so far. Okay, and basically this goes back to October 7th. 2015, that's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? And I'm going to make this the majority of 182. So out of this 381 drawings, 182 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. 199 have been the majority of odd numbers, okay? So what I like to do here is I like to look at every 5 drawings, just so it shows me that majority. Okay, so you can see the last 5 drawings had the majority of odd numbers. Before that was evens, odds, evens, odds. Okay, so as I come back here, I'm going to start right here. So it goes evens, odds, evens, odds, evens, odds. So I'm kind of thinking that this will probably be the majority of odd numbers coming up. Okay, but for this drawing here, since it's kind of sparse down through here, I think that this next one is going to be evens. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so I'm going to write that down and I'll show you why as I keep on moving on. Okay, so the next one is high and low. Okay, you can see that this one's pretty tight. Okay, 190 to 191, all right? Okay, so as I go down here, you can see the last one's low, 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 okay? So I'm thinking that this next one, you can see how sparse things over here on the high side, and all these red numbers are considered high numbers, okay? So I'm gonna go with high, and I think at least 3 numbers will be here on the high side. So I'll write that down as well. Okay, and moving on, the next one I have is left and right. Okay, so you can see that the last 5 drawings, 2, 3, 4, 5, have been to the left side. Okay, now because it's been 5 in a row, I'm going to guess that this next one will be the majority to the right side. Okay, so I'll write that down as well. Okay, so I have one more, and this is the red and blue area here. I'm looking at this, and I'm not sure what's going to happen, so I'm not going to even guess at this. Okay, so I'll just leave it with this evens right, evens high and right. Okay. So one last thing I do have here in the 50-50 picks is the Powerball itself. I do have something for the Powerball, okay? So there's 26 red numbers for the Powerball Lottery. So in this column here, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. And over here in this column, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. If you see a blue number, that means it's evens, okay? So the reason why I do that is now I just look at the colors, okay? So I'm looking at this, and I see the last 3 drawings were to the blue, which means low numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess that this is going to be a red number coming up. So instead of concentrating on all 26 numbers, now I just cut it in half, okay? Now I'm just concentrating on the 14 through 26 numbers, okay? And over here on this column, I'm looking at this, and the red is pretty sparse, so I think that it's going to be red. So that means it's going to be an odd number, I think, okay? So now I'm just concentrating on the high odd numbers, okay? The 15, the 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25. Okay, so I'm just going to look at those numbers instead of all 26, okay? So I'm thinking that the 21 comes up a lot, or the 17 just barely came up, so maybe it will come up again, okay? But again, the 21 seems to come up a lot for some reason, okay? So we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's basically how that works. Okay, and this green mark means that the Powerball repeated itself. You can see it came up, the 14 came up, and then it repeated. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all the numbers, divided it into 4 different groups, okay? I put colors to these groups. So when the Powerball numbers come up within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So I'm going to do that right now. So again, the winning Powerball numbers were the 3, 32, 34, 42, and 61. So you can see that the 3's in the red here, okay? The 32 is in the blue. The 34 is in the orange area. The 42 is in the orange, and the 61 is in the green. Okay, so I hit all 4 colors. Okay, when that happens, I call this a row. Okay, so if I don't see a row in a while, then I'm going to assume that it's going to come up pretty soon, okay? And when that happens, I want the 5 winning Powerball numbers to represent all 4 of these colors. Okay, so I'm making this 22 because now a blue number here has come up in the last 22 drawings, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to come up, okay? So you can see a 0 here means that none of these green numbers came up, okay? So if I could have correctly guessed that none of these green numbers were going to come up in this drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a prediction on what's going to happen, okay? So this is where the 50-50 picks come in, okay? Because again, I think no, we're still at 90. Okay, so as I go back to this group 1 here, again, I want to use the 50-50 picks to try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up, okay? So again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd numbers, so it really doesn't help me out here, okay? But the next one is I thought there was going to be more numbers to the high side than the low side. And I thought there was going to be more numbers here to the right side than the left side, okay? So what I'm looking at is possibly this red area not coming up, okay? But there's been 22 drawings in a row. The longest streak so far has been 17, so it's 3 drawings over the 17 mark. So because of that, I'm going to go with the blue here, okay? I don't think any of these blue numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card, okay? So I'm going to get rid of all these numbers here. Hopefully they don't come up, okay? And I'm going to move on to the next one, okay? So my next prediction is I just want to let you know that I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no orange numbers in this option card number 4. Okay. Now the reason why I'm doing this, picking this one, and the thing is that we're all going to look at this differently. Okay. So we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay. But the reason why I'm taking this is because 1 here comes up a lot. Okay. It just does. Okay. So I'm just going with the stats here. And if there was a 0 here, then this would make a 1, okay? So as I'm looking at this column here, I haven't seen a 1 in a while, okay? So here it is right here, all right? It's been a long time. I'm thinking that it's due to have another one, okay? So I'm going to say that the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers here off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate this 58 because it shares the square with the 68, and I'll go over that in a second. Okay, so you can see that there's some numbers over here off to the left side. Okay, and as I go back to this group 1, you can see that there's no numbers over here. Okay, so the 58, I call it sharing the square with the 68. So basically what I did is, again, I'm just grouping up numbers here. Okay. And with this, with all these other orange numbers, I'm going to group up the 25 with the 65, the 58 with the 68, okay? Plus all these other orange numbers as well, okay? So this is just my way of grouping up numbers here, okay? So I eliminated all those, okay? So I'm going to go on to the next one. My next prediction is going to be option card number 6. No red numbers, okay? Now, the reason why I'm picking this is the only option card where it's separated odd numbers from even numbers, okay? So all the red numbers are odd, all the orange numbers are odd, okay? All the blue and green are even, okay? So since there's been 18 drawings in a row, and I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers, and I think there's going to be more numbers to the high side here, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think that any of these odd numbers are going to come up on the lower side, okay? So I'm going to get rid of all the red numbers here through the game card. So this 19 shares the square with the 67, so I'll get rid of that as well. And that's it, okay? So moving on, one last one. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, and the last one that I'm going to pick is this option card number 9, no green numbers, okay? So the reason why I'm picking this one, you can see that these zeros, they follow up on each other, okay? But over here in this one, this option card 9, the green numbers, you can see that there's actually 14 single zeros here, okay? So it's been a while since they doubled up like this, and I just think that it's due to happen, okay? So I think the 0 will be right here. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to get rid of all these green numbers, okay? So it's the 4 diagonal, the 29. This is kind of like a bow tie looking thing, and the 36, 51, 68, okay? So I don't have to worry about this one. The 4 is already gone, so I'll do the 36, 41, 51, and the 39, 48. And hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? So you can see how I'm whittling down the numbers. Hopefully I made all the correct picks so far, and none of these blocked out numbers will come up, which means that the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are hopefully still left here on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, but the big thing about this one is that there's 8 groups and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 3 of these colored groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these colored groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards as well. They all have the same colors of red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay. Again, it's just the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so I'm going to update this one. Okay, so the last numbers were 3, which is an orange number. The 32 is yellow. The 34 is blue. The 42 is blue. And the 61 is purple. Okay, so I like to read things from left to right. So I have 2 blue, an orange, a purple, and a yellow. So I'm starting a new thing right down here. So I'm concentrating on the red area. There was no winning Powerball numbers, so it has a 0. The blue area had 2 winning Powerball numbers, the 34 and 42. The orange had 1 winning Powerball number, the 3. There's no winning Powerball numbers in the green area. There's 1 in the purple, that's 61. No winning Powerball numbers in the brown. No winning Powerball numbers in the gray area. And the 1 in the yellow, that 32. So now I count how many color groups I hit. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups that I hit. Okay, and because the majority was over here to the left side, I'm going to color this 4 red. Okay, so if I come up and I look at this 4 green right here, I know that for this drawing, the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side. Okay, so the reason why I do that, if I see a big thing of green, well, I know eventually it's going to turn red at some point. Okay, so up here, what I want to show you is why things are blue and why things are red here. Okay, so you can see that I like to keep track of every 5 drawings, and the reason why that is because it will show me a majority. Okay, so you can see the majority is misses. You got 3 zeros here. Okay, so when that happens, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so you can see the next 5 down, there was 3 hits, and when that happens, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so we all know the lottery is random. Okay, and this is what random looks like. Okay, so when I see something that's been really, really hot like this, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so as I look at this, I want to try to guess where the 0 is going to be. All right, I know there's going to be at least 3 of them. On average, there's 4. Okay, so in the last 5 drawings, the majority of the numbers have been over here. Okay, so I'm going to guess that I don't believe that any of the red numbers are going to come up. I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the red numbers. And the funny thing is I don't even know what red numbers they are yet, you know. So I'll go up and take a look, and I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, and you can see that they're already gone. Okay, so my next pick is going to be option card number 3, no purple numbers. Okay, so here's option card 3. Here's the purple, and as I go down through, you see that things are pretty hot, and actually it's gone through 5, 10, 11 drawings, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the purple numbers, okay, the 66 and the 33. And you can see that there's nothing here. Okay, so I'm going to move on. My next pick is no red numbers on option card 4. So here's the red, and as I go down through, you see that things got pretty hot down through here. Okay, it's been through 5, 8, 9 drawings in a row. Now I think the 0 will be here. So I'll get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. So I'll get rid of the 34 and 35. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so going back, the next one is option card number 5, no orange. Okay, so here's the orange, and as I head down through, it's kind of a little hot here. Okay, so again, I think the 0 will be here. And I'm going to get rid of these numbers right here. So the 44, 52, and 59. Hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? So moving on, I couldn't make a prediction for this option card 6, so I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to go on to 7 and say that no blue numbers are going to come up. I think the 0 is going to be right here in the blue section, okay? And it's the 33, 42, 35, 44 all the way across. So I'll get rid of that 42 and the 46. So hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? Moving on, I'm going to go to number 8. I don't think any orange numbers are going to come here in the orange area. Okay, it's been kind of hot through here. I think the 0 will be right here, which means I don't think these numbers are going to come up. The 7, 14, 23, 30 all the way down. And I'll get rid of the 55. Okay, so moving on. Number 9, I don't think any yellow numbers are going to come up. So here's the yellow. As I scroll down through, things have been pretty hot here. Okay, it's gone through 5, 9, 10 drawings in a row. I think the 0 will be here. And that's going to get rid of the 12, 17. That pattern on the left side and the 6629 on the right side. So that's all I could get rid of is the 12. Okay, so moving on. Number 10, I don't think any gray, I don't think any gray numbers are going to come up. So here's the gray. You can see how hot this gray has been. And again, I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'll get rid of these gray numbers. And that's the 17, 28, that pattern all the way around. So I'll get rid of the 28. Okay, so you can see I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got one more to get rid of. Okay, so I couldn't pick from 11, and I'm going to go to 12 blue. Okay, so as I make my way down here, it's been a little hot through here, so I think the 0 will be right here, which means I don't believe that any of these blue numbers will be coming up. So I'll get rid of the 43, and that's it. So I'm going to go with the 10, the 20, the 38, the 47, and the 56. Okay, so, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Well, they're pretty steep. Okay, so let me go over the odds. To get the grand prize, all 5 white balls and a red ball, the odds of doing that are 1 in 292 million. Okay, what my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. If I get the red ball correct at the same time, then bonus. Okay, but that pays $2 million with the power play. And the odds of doing that are just about 1 in 11.5 million. Okay, a nice prize is 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays $50,000 plus the power play. That's just about 1 in a million odds. And then more realistic odds, getting 4 white balls. That pays $100 plus the power play. And then 3 white balls will pay $7, and that's 1 in 700. Okay. So just go over a budget. If you were to spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay. So in closing, I want to thank you for watching. Okay. If you'd like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.